Hello everyone, this is lecture 72 for the mathematical physics. In the last lecture we have completed our partial differential equations. We studied about the 1D heat equation, 1D wave equation, and we saw the solutions. So today we'll start our new topic, that is Fourier transform. So what is Fourier transform? So before that you must know that what is Fourier series. So I already described that, and Fourier series is nothing but you express any function which is periodic in terms of sinusoids of discrete frequencies. So you have some sine or the cos functions for the some discrete frequencies, and you can express your periodic function in that. But what if the function is non-periodic? Then how you can express? Then you write the Fourier transform of that function, and that function will be continuous function of all the frequencies. So let st be a non-periodic function. Then we analyze it by writing its Fourier transform, that is capital HF, and this is summation of sinusoids of all frequencies. That is HF is continuous function of frequency. So let me give you an example. So you have this non-periodic function. Then you can write the Fourier transform of this, and that will give you this continuous function of frequency. In terms of frequency, this will be continuous, means for all frequency you will get some value, and that's how you can write any non-periodic function in terms of Fourier transform. So that is the helpful, very helpful for us, because in digital communications when we study the signals, we write the Fourier transform to, and when we encounter with any signal which is non-periodic, so we write the Fourier transform to get all the information we need for the different frequencies. And if the function is periodic, then we will get discrete frequencies, and if it is non-periodic, we will get all the possible frequencies. So in the frequency domain of representation of the function, so when we represent this function that is non-periodic in the frequency domain, we will get this, means we will get all the possible frequencies. Because this is non-periodic, that's why we are getting all frequencies. But if function is periodic, that means there will be some discrete frequencies, so we'll get here your Fourier series. Now see, this Fourier series is special case of Fourier transform, because Fourier transform of any function will give you discrete frequencies if the function is periodic, and that discrete frequency is nothing but Fourier series. And if it is non-periodic, you will get this. So that's how we can say that Fourier series is a special case of Fourier transform. So let's now study some mathematical things. How can we convert any non-periodic function or periodic into the, how can you find the Fourier transform of that? So st, the Fourier transform will be capital HF, and if you convert this HF to st, we call it inverse Fourier transform. So the formula is Fourier transform of st can be written as minus infinity to infinity ht exponential minus 2 pi ft dt. So that's how we will get this whole function in terms of f, because you can put the limits of t, then only variable will be f. So that's how we will get this function, that is Fourier transform. Now inverse Fourier transform, this ht will be equal to hf exponential I 2 pi f t df. In general, we get this Fourier transform, this function, as a complex number. It is in the some form of complex, because we get some real terms and some imaginary terms. So we can write this Fourier transform in terms of rf plus if, means we can write it in terms of the real values and the imaginary values. So this is real part of Fourier transform, this is imaginary part of Fourier transform. Now this is something like a complex number, so we can find some other things also, like we can write this hf as mod of this exponential I and the theta phase. So we can find those values, because this is something like a complex number. So hf, the mod of hf will be under root rf square plus if square. So this will give you amplitude of Fourier transform, and this theta we call this phase angle of Fourier transform. So that will be given by tan inverse y by x. So this is if divided by rf. This is phase angle of Fourier transform. So you must know how to find these things. We will see how we apply them. So let's take an example. If st is given this beta exponential minus alpha t, where t is greater than 0, and it will be 0 otherwise. So we need to find the Fourier transform of this, and this is a non-periodic function, you can see. So hf will be ht exponential minus I 2 pi f t dt. This is the formula to convert. Now ht will be this beta exponential minus alpha t, and for the limit will be 0 to infinity, because all others this will give you 0. So exponential minus I 2 pi f t dt. Now see, you can just integrate this. It will give you, take the minus t common, it will give you alpha plus I 2 pi f inside. Now you can integrate, it will give you exponential minus x and divide by this term. Now put the limit at the infinity, this will give you 0, and at 0 it will give you 1, and you will get beta over alpha plus I 2 pi f simply. So I assume that you can solve this integral, so that's why I am not explaining. So it will be equal to this. Now see, we can rationalize this by just multiplying with alpha minus I 2 pi f and alpha minus I 2 pi f in the denominator and the numerator. So you will get alpha square plus 2 pi f square in the denominator, and in the numerator you will get this. Means you can separate both the terms with the I and with the real terms, real and imaginary terms you can separate. So now you will get your Fourier transform in terms of real and imaginary term, as I told you here that you can write your Fourier transform in terms of the real part and the imaginary part. So we get this real and the imaginary part for this function. Now see, we can write this in the form of hf magnitude exponential I theta, just like we can write any complex number in that form. So hf will be under root this square plus this square. When you solve this, you will get beta by under root alpha square plus 2 pi f square, and theta f is this divided by this. So you will get if divided by rf, so it will be minus 2 pi f by alpha. Now that's how you can write this also, means you can find the phase angle and the magnitude. So now we can represent these in the graphical terms also. They can ask you with this way also, that write the real part in the graphical form. So real part is b alpha, beta alpha divided by alpha square plus 2 pi f square. So when it is a even function, for all f it will be positive. So and see, as f tends to infinity, this will tends to 0. So you can write this real part in this way, and at f equal to 0, this will give you beta by alpha. So this ht will be, means this graph is for this ht. This ht was given beta exponential minus alpha t. So this is a decreasing function exponentially, and for t tends to infinity, this will tends to 0, and this is for the t greater than 0. So you can write ht in terms of t this way, and at t equal to 0, this will be beta. So this is the graph of means ht. Now we can see the graph of this real part. It will give you f equal to 0, beta by alpha. So at f equal to 0, it will be beta by alpha, and this will be positive for f positive and f negative. For both, it will give you even function. That's why you are getting this kind of graph. So similarly, you can plot for this imaginary part also. So here you can see that this imaginary part is odd function, because for f negative you will get positive value, for f positive you will get negative values, and so you can represent this in this form. And at f equal to 0, you will get 0. So this will be this kind of, means you must remember these kind of special result, means if this kind of functions you have in terms of f or any variable, so you will get this kind of curve always. Means that as f tends to infinity, this will tends to 0. You can analyze this result, and we can also plot. Means see, for f equal to positive values you are getting the negative, for f positive you are getting negative, and for the f negative you are getting positive. So remember this curve. Now you can also plot this magnitude, that is beta by alpha square plus 2 pi f square. So for all f it will be positive, and for f equal to 0 you will get beta by alpha. So this will be a similar kind of this way. So you will get this way also. Similarly, we can plot this phase angle also. As we know that tan inverse, the maximum value is go from the minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So you can see that value of this will be minus pi by 2, pi by 2, and this is equal to this. So as f tends to positive infinity, you will get maximum negative value of this. So as f tends to positive, so you get maximum negative, that is minus pi by 2, and as f tends to negative, so it will be positive, so it will be positive pi by 2. So that's how this curve will be this way. Let's move forward. Now see, you have this hf, that is Fourier transform of ht. Now you can take the inverse Fourier transform of this, and you will get your ht again. So let's see how can we get. So we have this formula for ht, hf exponential I 2 pi f t df. So we can write this in terms of cos and sine, that is cos 2 pi ft plus I sin ft. So this can be written in this form, hf and this. Now in place of hf, we will substitute this for this function. Now we will multiply both these terms with both these terms, and we will separate the imaginary and the real part. So when you multiply all the terms, you will get 4 terms there. So 2 terms which are imaginary, you will get all the odd imaginary terms will be odd functions. So for odd functions, and limit will be minus infinity to infinity. So you know this integration will give you 0 for the odd functions. So you will remaining with only the 2 real terms you will getting here. So that will be these. So when you solve them, you will get these 2 terms. So if 4 terms, 2 will be 0, and only 2 are remaining, that will be these. And you can separate them in this form. Now see, this is making a something kind of identity, because we know these results. You must remember this, write somewhere, very important results. If this is your integration minus infinity to infinity cos ax b square plus x square dx, this will be equal to pi by b exponential minus ab for ab greater than 0, and same for x sin ax b square plus x square dx, you will get pi exponential minus ab. So see, there are same type of terms here. So in place of a we have 2 pi f, sorry 2 pi t, and in place of b we have alpha by 2 pi, and in place of x we have f and dx df. Same here, in place of x you have f, and in place of a you have 2 pi t. So a is 2 pi t, b is alpha by 2 pi, ab will give you alpha t. So just substitute them here. So this integral can be written directly by this way. You know a and b, then multiply them with them, and whatever comes after this multiply with that this. So you will get from here beta by 2 exponential minus alpha t. From here you will get beta by 2 exponential minus alpha t. Now adding them will give you beta exponential minus alpha t. So that is the ht we have taken in the starting. So this is the same result you will getting by the inverse Fourier transform. So I hope you understood this. Let's take one more example. So this is a non-periodic function, and this is given, this sum value is a, ht is equal to a. So hf will be ht is a exponential minus I 2 pi f t dt. So we can just integrate this, means first write it in the terms of cos and sine. So it will be this. Now this sine function is odd function, so limit is minus t naught to t naught. So this will give you 0, so only this part is remaining. This will give you sine 2 pi f t divided by 2 pi f. So you can just put limit, and you can just write means t naught and t naught in the denominator and numerator, so that you can form this kind of function. So hf will be 2a t naught sine 2 pi f t naught divided by 2 pi f t naught. So we made this in terms of sin x divided by x. So why we made this that way? So you know this function a sin x by x, and you know how to plot this. So this sin x by x is 1 for x tends to 0. So this will be a for x 0. So as x tends to 0, this will be 1, and fx will be a. So we'll get here. Now see where you are getting 0. So for all, when the sin x is equal to 0, you will get 0. So that means x should be equal to n pi, and where n should not be 0, because for 0 we already find the value. So n can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be for sin pi, sin 2 pi, sin 3 pi. So you will get 0 here, and same in the negative side, sin minus pi, sin minus 2 pi. So that will be your curve, and this is continuously decreasing. So the curve of, or the plot of this function will be this way. Now similar kind of function we are getting here. This is some constant like a, and this is sin x divided by x. So say this at f tends to 0. So this is the sin x by x. As f tends to 0, this will be 1. So the at f equal to 0 value will be 2a t naught. So it is 2a t naught. Now this must be 0 when this 2 pi f t naught is equal to n pi. So put 2 pi f t naught equal to n pi plus minus n pi, and from here f will be equal to, pi will cancel out, plus minus n by 2 t naught. So it will be 1 by 2 t naught, 2 by 2 t naught, means that's how you are getting your values, where it will be 0, and in the negative side minus 1 by 2 t naught. And that's how you can plot this, and this amplitude is continuously decreasing. Okay, so that's how you can plot this curve. Let's see one more kind of example, that is Dirac delta. So if st is given in terms of the Dirac delta function, that is k del t. So you can plot this as this way, means t, and you know Dirac delta function means it will exist for only t equal to 0. So this will be a spike at t 0. Now how you can write the Fourier transform? So you know the formula hf equal to, again, k del t and exponential minus 2 pi f t dt, and you know how to solve the Dirac delta function integral. So this whole value will exist only for t equal to 0. So you will put t equal to 0 here, this will be 1, and k will be outside because constant, and delta t dt will give you 1. So this integral will be k. So this Fourier transform is equal to k, some constant. So you can plot this Fourier transform this way, hf equal to k for all frequencies. So this will be a Fourier transform. Now see, if you find the inverse Fourier transform of this, if this k is here, the inverse Fourier transform will be exponential I 2 pi f t dp df. So see, you know from the Dirac delta function equation, you can write this thing, means minus infinity exponential I 2 pi f dt ft df is equal to Dirac delta function in terms of t. So it will be k is constant, so it will be k del t. So that's how you can write your inverse Fourier transform. That will give you same result as you starting with this. St is this. Now see, if st is given in this way, means it is given some constant k, then what will the Fourier transform? It will be hf equal to k exponential minus 2 pi f t dt, and this is again, it can be plus minus anything. This will give you Dirac delta function always. So k del f. So this will be your Fourier transform. See, if you have st in terms of constant, you get Fourier transform in some particular spike, and if you have this means in terms of st as a spike in the terms of Dirac delta function, you will get continuous or the constant k in terms of Fourier transform. So these are just the reverse of each other. So you must know about the Dirac delta function. You can study them in the previous lectures. I already explained everything about the Dirac delta function, everything. So let's take now we are discussing only the non-periodic function. Let's take one periodic function. So st equal to a cos 2 pi f naught t. This is a periodic function. So this cos can be written as cos x is equal to exponential iota x plus exponential minus iota x. So this is your x here, 2 pi f naught t. So this will be in this way, divide by 2. So just multiply this and integrate both the terms. So you will get this I f minus naught 2 pi t f plus f naught 2 pi t dt. So again this is the form of Dirac delta. So you can write this dt in terms of, it will be Dirac delta f minus f naught, and this will be Dirac delta f plus f naught. So this function is existing for only two frequencies, that is f equal to f naught and f equal to minus f naught. So when you plot this for the HF, you will get only two spikes in the HF, that is first at the f naught and second at the minus f naught. So it will be a by 2 value. So see, for the even function, when this st is even function, you are getting the real values and the even values for the Fourier transform. But what if here it was the odd function? Then you will get your spikes will be negative and this will be in the imaginary frame. Okay, so the values will be odd and it will be the imaginary values. Okay, means the curve will be in imaginary terms. So try to solve this for the sine, means if you get the same result, we will discuss in the next lecture that how can we plot for the odd function. So there you will get something like this and this HF will be in the imaginary terms. So try to solve this. We'll meet you in the next lecture. Thank you everyone.